Good morning and welcome to Wednesday, 18th of August, and welcome to this, our 57th vlog. Again, this is going to be a short vlog because last week I was at work. I did 10 days in a run, so I didn't get any days off, and so I've made a point of not doing anything on the boat really as much this week. A couple of things that I have done, and one thing I'm going to do in a moment is I've decided I ought to have a look at the washing machine on board Freedom. Now, I knew I got a washing machine and it's under the in the cupboard under the sink, but I've never used it, never looked at it, never decided to figure out how it works. I've always used the laundry on site, and there's no problem with that because it's a lovely laundry. But the other night I decided I'd get the instruction manual out and have a look at it. Well, the first thing I did after I'd read the instructions and I couldn't understand any of it, I thought I'll just have a look at the washing machine and wing it. I opened the cupboard door, and to my amazement, when the original owners left, for some reason they left the door closed on the washing machine, and there was water inside. So the drum, the stainless steel drum, when I opened the main door, was absolutely brown. It just looked like the bottom of the canal. So this was at like 10:30 at night. That's when I decided to have a look. So I spent the next hour and a half cleaning everything. I took the soap tray out, I sprayed all the drum, and it got me thinking that I ought to really give this machine a bit of a whirl. So the following morning I spoke to one of my neighbours and told him what I was doing, and Louise kindly gave me a packet of cleaner that you put in the drum, and I ran the machine at 60 degrees, and it did. For the start off, it looked like it was a jar of coffee had been poured inside the machine. It was just brown, sludgy, dirty water. But as it went through the cycle, this cleaning product that she gave me definitely did a damn good job, and eventually the water that was being discharged was perfectly clean, and the drum and everywhere smelled lovely. So I proceeded to wash some shirts, and I must confess, the actual result of the cleanliness of these shirts was better than the laundry. So yesterday I decided I was going to do all my cushion covers, and as I've always said, I like people to know what things cost, and I've always been conscious that having this washing machine on board the boat would be an expensive add-on. So what I did, before I started the actual wash, I read the pontoon meter, my electric meter, and it was reading 95.54 units of electricity. That's kilowatts. I did a 50-degree wash, which lasted 59 minutes, just under the hour. And then I read the meter again, and it read 95.14. So I'd actually used 0.40 of a kilowatt. Now we pay at the moment 16 pence a unit for a kilowatt, so that worked out at 6.4 pence to do a load of washing. Now it's a 6 kilo drum, so it doesn't hold as much as the laundry. I think I put about 12 kilo in the laundry, but the laundry, the cheapest wash cycle is £3.50, and then you're tempted, because the dryer's next to it, to put your washing in there, so that's obviously £4.50. So I ran the machine, did the cushion covers. They came out lovely. They smell nicer, and that sounds a bit weird because I use the same washing products, but they definitely smell nicer, and than the big industrial machines do. And I have a fold out clothes horse that goes on my stern deck, and one of the joys of living on a wide beam is you can put a big clothes dryer on your stern deck, and you're not breaking any rules, because the marine doesn't want you to put your laundry out on the top of your boat or out on a washing line. And it dries lovely because the stern deck pram cover does get nice and warm under there, and you just open both your side flaps on your cover, and you've got fresh air blowing through. So it's warm, fresh air. What better way to dry your clothes? So I'm just going to quickly show you the washing machine in a minute, so you get an idea of again, it's another cost you've got to think about. And when I fit my solar and my new batteries, at least I've got some idea of what a standard wash cycle is going to use. Now this is a cold feed washing machine, so therefore it heats the water as it goes, but it's also intelligent. Apparently it knows how much washing you've put in, and it limits the water and everything around that, so you're not heating up masses of water when you don't need it. So I'm going to quickly show you the washing machine in a minute, and then I'm going to show you a little invention that I need ever so bad, and I've never got round to sorting, so today's the day, of a very high spec fuel level indicator. So let me just show you this washing machine, and then I'll show you how I'm going to design this fuel indicator. Okay, so in this cupboard we have this Lamona HJA 8514. Now when I first looked at this, I'm thinking, oh my god, there's so many things to have to look at. And to be honest with you, from the kind of washing and laundry I'm going to do, I only need to concentrate on these 3 settings. You can pick your own temperature sets, so you can go right up to 90 degrees. You can pick your own spin control, so obviously depending on whether you're spinning out jeans or you're doing some light t-shirts or whatever. And then it gives you the ability to change the program or add to the program. So if you've got intolerance to shampoos and washing liquids, you can actually press this button, this one, and it will do extra rinses in the normal program to rinse out any of the chemicals that's used. Now we only use eco-friendly, and as I say, it's a 6 kilo, and I must admit from now on in I'm converted. I'm going to be using this machine to do all my bits and pieces, and I'll keep you updated on the my satisfaction level. But at the moment, I've got to say it's brilliant. I nearly shut the door then, I got myself a problem. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. Not expensive to use, and something I'm definitely going to be using a lot more of. Now let me show you that fuel level indicator. Well, I could have picked a nicer day. It's a bit breezy, and here is the access to my fuel tank, and Freedom isn't fitted with a fuel gauge, so I've made a fuel indicator stick, and I've cut it now so it sticks out enough for me to grab hold of. The black mark here that I've put on is to the underside of the filler, so that's basically to the top of the tank. And I'm just going to wipe this diesel off because I want to get it in the marina. And I'm now going to take your board, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to turn that into my indicator stick. Very high tech. Right, so we know at the moment, I don't actually know how many litres this tank holds. There's nothing in the build paperwork that tells me. So I'm going to have to figure that out when I fill it for the very first time. It'll give me an approximate. But all that matters is the tank is kept full, because that way then we eliminate, or try to eliminate, any risk of diesel bug, which is not what you want. It's just a horrible thing into fuel lines, and it clogs everything up. So all I need to know at the moment is how much fuel have I got in, and when I'm out on the water I can dip the tank and it'll at least tell me if I've got a half or a third. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to measure that top, which is as near as damn 22. It doesn't have to be perfectly accurate because we're not going down to the wire. So if we say it's, well, actually it's 22.5, so let's say 11.25 inches, which is roughly there, is a half a tank. So then half of 11 is 5.5, so just over 5.5 inches is going to be a quarter of a tank. And then so obviously we need to do the same going up to make it 3/4 of a tank. So 5.5, just over 5.5 will put me up here. There we go. How simple is that? High tech or what? So at least now what I've got to do, I'm just hoping this marker pen isn't going to suddenly dissolve when it gets in the diesel. as I say, it's not going to be totally accurate, but it gives me a bit of an instant visual when I dip the tank as to how much fuel I've got remaining. Because there are bound to be situations where I'm going to get myself running short. I do intend carrying a jerry can of 20 litres, which I'm allowed to carry for emergencies, and I'm now just going to nip outside. I'm going to dip this, and let's just see where on this fantastic measuring stick it shows me what fuel I've got in. I'll come back to you in a sec. Right, keeping that so I don't dip it into the canal. So the level, if you can see on there, is just over a quarter tank, and once I've worked out how much fuel's in the tank on a full fill, I'll at least then have a gauge in my mind. Why haven't I fitted an electronic gauge is because A, it's a lot of messing about, and B, I haven't yet spoken to anybody who says their gauge is that accurate. And the one thing with the stick is, it's pretty damn accurate. Once this is dry, because it will dry off, the diesel will dry out, and the next time I dip I'll be able to see where the wet line is, and that's really all I'm going to need to know. So and what did it cost? Absolutely nothing, because a friend of mine has given me the bits of wood. That's a bargain. There you go. That's how to make a very cheap, high-tech, or should I say low-tech, fuel indicator stick. Now, just a bit of a follow-on from when I was doing the inspection hatch. A couple of slight changes and developments. The first, I'll give you a very obvious clue, which is on the doors into the electric cupboard, and I think that that tells you what you're going to see. But I'm just going to show you what I've done with the sensor, the water sensor wire. And funny enough, only last night, I did this about 3 nights ago, and only last night somebody sent me a message via YouTube to say I think I'd be tempted to drill another hole. So let me just show you what I've done. Okay, so now you're inside the electric cupboard, and this TKWA01 is the water sensor that is set into the inside of the inspection hole that I've built, and that will give me a audible warning as and when, if ever, any water leaks under the floor of the boat. Now originally I was going to put it between this seal here and just trap the cable, and even though it wasn't looking like it was going to do any damage, I decided that I would actually drill this little hole here to put the cable through. Now at work, somewhere at work, I've got a pack of grommets with the hole in the middle, which will fill most of this hole up, and that'll just tidy that up, and at least then whenever I need to go in and out of here, which originally was only going to be every now and again, but I've decided to make good use of it. And look at that, I've worked it out. I can actually get 15 cans of cider in here, and if worst comes to worst, I'll move a bit of the I'll move a little bit of the I don't know if you can just see it there, that's a bit of the ballast, then I can get a few more in. So I've got room, I've got a bottle of Prosecco that needs Asti that needs to go in there that somebody kindly gave me, and the water sensor is just there, tucked out the way, so if we do get any water ingress, it will still sound the main alarm. So not only have I successfully made myself an inspection hatch, inadvertently I've made myself a lovely chiller. Oh, that was something I needed to do. Let me just show you. Now, it's hanging up here at the moment. I brought this home because I run a gift and furniture shop, and this is a shabby chic thermometer showing nearly 70 degrees on the boat. And I thought, what I'm going to do, I'm going to hang that in here. It'll hang No, it won't. So I'm just going to rest it in there. In fact, I'll put it on top of my ciders, and then we'll see what temperature compared to the inside of the boat it is in here. But this is only my first store. What the idea is, I will take cans out as I need them and pop them in the fridge. But originally I was filling the fridge up with cider and I got no room to put any food. So now this will just keep them relatively chilled, and then I'll just every now and again put a few inside the actual fridge. I love this inspection actually. I think it's absolutely brilliant, and with the water sensor, as I've said before, total peace of mind. And putting it where it is now, it's well out of the way, it's not going to cause any issues, and the grommet will just protect the wire. Although there's no actual sharp edges, it will just protect it. So, how to build a wine chiller? Put yourself an inspection hole in. Simple as that. 26, was it 26? No, 24 pounds. Job done. Well, I brought Misty for a day out, and one of the things I like to do, I'm driving into Derbyshire. I'm about 20 miles now away from Mercia, and one of the things I like to do is ignore the sat nav, and every time I see it turning on a country lane I take it. And yeah, it's a bit of a misty, murky kind of day, and I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it's absolutely bloody beautiful, and I don't care what the weather's like. And we've got this within a less than half an hour drive from the marina, and I bet on a summer's day you can see for absolutely miles. So I'm going to continue till I can find somewhere to park and find some footpaths, and then I'm going to take a ladyship for a walk. I'll catch up with you in a bit. Well, I've finally ended up entering Wirksworth, which, as it says on the board, is a historic market town, and it's nestled, as lots of these towns are, in all these beautiful valleys created by all these hills. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So let's have a look what Wirksworth has got to offer. Well, it's been a long while since I've done any cooking, as in on the vlog, but I just fancied tonight for my tea, and it's early this afternoon, so I'm going to prep it now. I've got a 450 gram rump steak, and I'm going to prep it in a way that you may have not seen prepped before, and I can guarantee it's going to be absolutely lovely. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they come to cooking steak, is they put it in the fridge when they get back from the supermarket, leave it there for 2 or 3 days, it's nice and cool, and then they get it out and put it straight in a pan. The first thing you must do is really do let it get warm, let it get to room temperature, because if you don't, as soon as that meat hits the pan, it's going to grab, all the sinews are going to grab up tight, and then it's like a ball of sinew. And you want it to be relaxed, and you're going to cook it steady. We're not going to go crazy. I know people like to see steaks sizzling and going crazy, but this is a slightly different way of doing it, and it is beneficial. So I'm going to quickly show you. This is just the preparation part. When we get to stage 2, I'm going to have a nap, and then I'm going to bring you back to stage 3. So, as I say, 450 gram. I'm just going to run the knife, which is a lovely sharp knife, into the surface of it, We're not going to go crazy and cook too deep. And you don't have to be precise with this. And it's just for the next stage, and it'll all make sense. So we're going to treat it. So some seasoning, a bit of salt and pepper, and this is actually a barbecue seasoning grinder. It came out of Aldi, so I don't quite know how good it's going to be, but this is, you know, what we want to do is get a bit of flavour into this steak. And again on the other side. So again, we're just going to put some light scores into this meat before we put the seasoning on. Everybody has their own way of doing it, obviously, but this is one I don't think you'll have done very often. It's maybe just worth it giving it a try. You might be amazed. You might not. That's it, just press it in so it's in amongst the meat grains that you've just cooked. And now you're going to place it. Let's get this board out of the way. You place it in a bowl, and now I'm going to get a special ingredient. Bear with me one moment. Now what we're going to do is something that you don't often hear about doing with steak. We're going to actually marinate it. And I've had a look in the cupboard, and one of the things you'll know if you watch my cooking before is I always say don't stick to any kind of recipe. Recipes are there to be messed with. So in the cupboard I found a pot of white onion. So we're just going to put a bit of that in. There is only a bit. Yeah, it's going. There we go. This is just to add to the marinade. And we've got a little bit of minced garlic and a little bit of crushed chilli. And again, we're not going stupid with it, so it's just to add that little bit of a bite. Now, this is what we do need. Coca-Cola. Other makes are available. Yeah, we are going to marinate the steak in Coca-Cola. A little bit more seasoning because that's obviously going to dilute what's already on the steak. And all we're going to do it's bubbling away is exactly what we want it to be doing. We're going to put a lid on it, in this case a plate, and set it aside for about 45 minutes. That gives me time. Okay, what we've got is a unusual way of doing steak, because you'd normally do it in a frying pan or a thick griddle, and the problem with that is you get spits everywhere, and the way that we're going to cook it, we need it to be in a deeper pan. In the bottom here there is just a very small amount of oil, which I'm getting nice and hot, and then we're going to place a steak in, and it smells absolutely gorgeous. It's still marinated away, just using a pair of tongs. Just let it drain a few seconds because it's going to spit when we first put it in. And then all we're going to do is put the lid on it and let it do what it needs to do. We're not going to mess with it. There we go. And that minimises all the splashes and spits. We're going to turn the heat down, and it's going to take about 10 minutes. So I'm going to check on it in about 5 and then turn it. We're not going to mess with it. We just want it to caramelise. We want to get all the sugar out, the Coca-Cola into that meat, and it will actually bring out the flavour, believe you. It really is a different way of cooking. So, right, I'll bring you back in about 5 minutes before we turn it. Right, welcome back. Now, this has had just over 5 minutes, about 6 minutes, and we'll just have a quick look before we turn it. See if we've got the colour that we need. And as you can see, that is absolutely gorgeous. So now we're just going to turn it, put the lid back on, leave it alone. And I'd normally have this with chips and peas and tomatoes and mushrooms, but I've had chips twice this week, so I'm actually going to have it with some buttered new potatoes and peas and a dab of French mustard on it. I think we'll just set it off. In this pan here, I'm actually reducing down the liquor that we marinated the steak in. I know it's a big pan, but it's the only one I've got, and that will then be just used just to baste over the steak, pre-serving it, just to give it a little bit of moisture. And the nice thing with doing it with the lid on is it does exactly that. It keeps your steak nice and moist. This is a great way. This is actually a great way of doing steak if you're going to do it on a barbecue. Now, what I would suggest, if you've got the barbecue with a pull-down lid, is when you first get your barbecue going, use an old tin, something like an old baking tin that you don't need anymore, like a loaf tin. Fill it with hot water and put it at one end of the barbecue. And what that'll do is create, when it starts bubbling away, it'll create some moisture under that lid. And when you pull the lid down, your steak will then be cooked in the smoke, the heat and the moisture. So you're doing basically what we're doing now, but you're going to be adding that flavoured smoke into the meat. And yeah, let's give this another 5 minutes and let's see the end result. Well, this is absolutely stunning gorgeous. Now, one of the things I like to do just before it's finished is put a couple of knobs of butter in, because it gives it a little bit more richness to the flavour. And let that melt down. We'll turn the steak one more time and then just give it a few minutes to rest. Well, this is just about ready to serve, so we're just going to put a little bit of the reduced marinade over that steak. I'm going to plate it up and I'll show you just how gorgeous this looks. Oh, and there we have it. Let me just show you that. Doesn't that look absolutely beautiful? And like I say, you can have it with chips and with your mushrooms and grilled tomatoes, etc. But tonight I just wanted it with peas and new potatoes. All it needs now is a little bit of French mustard, just to give it that last little bit of flavour. And let's just see if this tastes as nice as it looks. Oh, that smells nice. Now it's got the mustard on it. Oh my God. Do it. You'll never cook steak the same again. Look inside. I'll get that right up to the camera if I can. Look how gorgeous that is inside. It's lovely and moist. Tastes fantastic. Absolutely beautiful. Now, I have actually done this once before, believe it or not, with ginger beer. And it's just the sugar in the drinks that helps give it that caramelisation. It's absolutely gorgeous. Give it a whirl. Send me your comments when you've done it. Tell me what you think. Remember to play with the seasonings. You need to leave it marinated for about an hour, at minimum of an hour. 2 hours would be even better. And remember, don't mess with it. Put it in the pan, put the lid on, take the lid off after 5 minutes. If you're going to go for medium to well done, you want to take the lid off after 5 minutes, turn your steak, put the lid back on, and then just give it that 1 extra minute. That will give you a nice medium to well done steak. If you want to go for well done, you want to be leaving it between 10 and 13 minutes. And if you want it rare, you need it to around about the 8 to 9 minutes. That is your choice. But for me, this is absolutely perfect. I'm going to enjoy it. Remember, this is a big steak, so you do follow the instructions on the packet if you're buying the sort of thinner steaks. You don't want to overcook them. And I hope you've enjoyed it. Makes a change to painting. I need this. Now, one of the things of having a wooden floor, and everybody who's been on the boat admires this floor, and it is a solid oak flooring. It's not a cheap veneer that Jeff has put down, because as with everything throughout this boat, they definitely went for quality, not price. And somebody asked me in our questions and answers vlog, is there, what was one of my favourite buys on the boat? And do you know something? Value for money. I bought this off a shopping channel, and I don't use it often enough, but by crikey, when you do, it makes one hell of a difference. There's lots of variations, so I'm not promoting a particular model, but this is just a charge it up, no cord, obviously cordless, and you put your cleaning fluids in here, floor cleaner in, and it gathers up all the dirty water in here. And in a minute, I'm doing a bit of a spring clean. As you can see, everything's kicking about. Chairs, I've moved all my chairs out because I've polished everything. And I'm going to wash the floor. So Misty's in the bedroom, out the way. I'm going to lift the rug. I'm going to wash the floor, and I'm going to show you this dirty water tank after I've been round the first time. And honest to God, it is disgusting. Even though I know this floor looks clean, it's amazing how dirty it actually is. Let me show you. Right, so I filled the top tank with a standard all-purpose floor cleaner, and I'm going to start in the bathroom, and it's just a case there's a trigger. I don't know if you can just see it. There you look, trigger, and you'll start the machine, push it forward without touching the trigger, and then you just press that trigger as you draw it back, and it lifts off the dirty water. And I'm just going to do the bathroom, and I'm going to do the walkway from the galley through to the bedroom, and then I'm going to show you. I mean, the floors don't look dirty, but I'll show you just how mucky that tank is, the bottom tank gets, of the water that's taken off the floor. It's amazing. I'll show you in a minute. Yeah, just look at that. How disgusting is that? And that's off a floor that twice a week I actually wipe with the specially designed antibacterial floor wipes. And I don't walk on the boat in my shoes. I only ever wear my slippers on board, and I don't wear my slippers outside. So this has got to be down to Misty. I'm going to have to start getting her to wear some boots. But it just goes to show that was £100 well spent on that machine, because what I try and do now is at least once a fortnight is I lock Misty in the bedroom, and I give the floor one heck of a good cleaning through, and yeah, it does a damn good job. Well, I've finally managed to get Misty to wake up and get off the bed, and I'm not at work today, but I'm just going to go down to the main entrance where we're getting out of the marina, and on the left hand side is where all the cleaners have their coffee break and they keep their equipment and that. And I'm going to drop them in this box of shortbread biscuits, just as a way of saying thank you for the fantastic job that they do. And I know they get paid for it, but there's often cases when these ladies go above and beyond, and it's just my way of saying thank you. So I'm going to drop these around and then take Misty on the park. Cider of the week. Oh. Well, what a week. I think we've crammed quite a bit in this little vlog, considering I said it wasn't going to have much in it. And I hope you've learnt a few things from what I've been doing. I hope you do give the steak in Coca-Cola a try. You'll be amazed. It is nice. But do it in a deep pan with a lid on the top. My cellar and inspection hatch with the water sensor. Everything in there is now done, and I've learned how to, well, I was going to say I've learned how to use the washing machine. Well, not quite, because I did a batch today and I panicked because I put it on pre-wash, which I've never used before, and I'd put a soap ball inside, and I turned the machine on and I could hear the water going through the soap tray, putting the liquid into the machine, and I'm thinking when it spins it's going to knock all the soap out the soap ball. So not thinking, I thought I'd better put some in the soap drawer ready for when it gets to the wash cycle, and of course I've ended up putting too much soap in, and I've used quite a lot of water today rinsing my overalls, but it's a learning curve and I'm getting there. So yeah, and I'm looking forward to Friday, because I'm going to Crick on Friday. I was fortunate enough to get some free tickets, and I'm going to take Misty and we're going to go and look at what's available with all the add-ons and accessories for boating life. So we might pick up a bargain or two, might even get a boat, who knows. So it's already time for Cider of the Week, and this week, courtesy of Aldi, and it appears to be one of their own brands because it hasn't got a name on it, it just says specially selected, and it's English cider, gooseberry and elderflower, and it's a 600ml bottle. It's 4%. It's £1.68 in Aldi, so I don't think you'll get this anywhere else because it's got no maker's name on it. And very, very brief description says cider with gooseberry and elderflower. I think I could have worked that one out from the label. So, like I say every week, let's crack it open. Let's see what it tastes like, and let's score it out of 10. Still making good use of my fantastic tankard from Louise and Callum. I'm not going to put much in because it might not be very nice. Oh, it smells a bit. Smells a bit wishy-washy. But I've said that before and then tasted it and it's been fantastic. So let's get a whirl. Oh. Oh, I don't think it tastes a bit woody. Well, I'm not so sure. It hasn't got a distinctive smell about it. It smells a bit wishy-washy. I know that's not very helpful to you. It must be the elderflower, because I once made elderflower champagne. Not very successfully. And when I drank that, it tasted like this. Got quite a stalk. Like, it's almost as if the flower's been left on the main stalk and they put the stalk in. Well, Aldi, would I buy this again? No. Sorry, I wouldn't buy it again. That is definitely not for me. I wouldn't recommend it. From my own opinion, it's not nice. It's got that kind of a, I suppose it's an acquired taste. Not say you shouldn't go and get a bottle. It's only £1.68. You can always give it a try. I won't be stocking any on it. I think there's a lot nicer ciders out there. And it's, for me, I'm going to say that's a 6. And that's being generous. Definitely wouldn't buy it again. But the whole point of Cider of the Week is to try different ciders. And there we've had gooseberry and elderflower, and it's, oh, it's definitely an acquired taste. So there's nothing more for me to do now than to say to each and every one of you, thank you for watching. Thank you for all the lovely comments we keep getting. It's nice to see people are interacting. Please, please, please do subscribe. it does help. It helps encourage me to do more. And we're never going to have thousands of subscribers. We've just hit 355, which is 255 more than we had at Christmas. And we thought we'd done well when we get to the first 100. So halfway through the year, we've made 255 on top of that. So that's good. Do give us a thumbs up if you found some of this or all of this vlog of interest. And please comment. I love to see what you guys think. Give the steak a go. I'd love to see your comments on that. And until next week, all that remains for me to say is cheers.